Welcome to episode 9, another edition of Blood Tribe Elections Live. Sorry guys, we took a couple days off to focus on our campaigns, but we are back with brand new candidates to highlight their platforms. Good evening, I'm Vernon Joseph, Chief Moon Jr., and my co-host is Robin Littlebear, and welcome to Blood Tribe Elections Live. Today's show is all about getting to know our candidates vying for the chief and council positions and to give them a chance to share their platforms safely with you all. Due to COVID-19, especially after today's numbers, 1,105 new cases today in Alberta alone, and sadly 8 deaths. And this month alone is 1/3 of all the deaths since the pandemic started. So we have to protect our elders, our immune compromised in our community, and that's why we are doing this broadcast today. Robin, did you have any numbers or highlight or any news in regards to the front end of the tribe?
Yes. Thanks, Vernon. We have an update for today, and certainly you can go to the Blood Tribe Communications to Nixony page for that. Also, the bloodtribe.org website, you can find that information there as well. Sadly, our numbers have creeped up. We are at 5 today, and we do have 2 cases at Kyla Continuing Care Center. So we have good and bad news. Our numbers continue to be low, so we want to congratulate everybody for keeping those numbers down and encourage you to continue wearing your masks, continue washing your hands, continue keeping everyone safe, especially our elders. And thanks for joining us tonight again. Thanks.
Yes, good information, Robin. Because in a leadership role, we have to help one another, and that's why we're doing this broadcast today, to help our fellow candidates. You can find us on Facebook and watch us via the Blood Tribe Elections 2020 Facebook page, or watch us on YouTube, Blood Tribe Elections 2020, also via Shaw or via TELUS on 322. Today's guests are Kyla Leanne Crow spreads his wings. I have to say that slowly to get it right. She's number 19 on the ballot. Second up, we have Marcel Patrick Weaselhead. He's number 78 on the ballot. And our third guest tonight is Kirby Dean Manyfingers. He's number 54 on the ballot. All right, we'll turn it to Robin to introduce our first guest, and we'll begin.
Welcome, Kyla. You can turn your microphone or your mute off. Kyla? There you are.
There you go, Kyla.
So Kyla, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself and share your platform with our viewers tonight.
Okay. Oki Gana. Nasto anako kamikagadu saki. Hi, Kainai. My name is Kyla Crow Spreads His Wings. My Blackfoot name is Round Star Woman. Just like to highlight my term from 2016 to 2020. I sat as the vice chair on the Children's Services Board. We were able to secure a 4-year board governance accreditation by the Canadian and Accreditation Council, the highest ranking standard in board governance. We were able to secure funding to expand the Family Resource Center in the 3 main communities. We also secured funding for salaries to be close to and or at par with the province. The corporation also expanded their programming in the area of another theory-based approach to healing and life skills, which is called the Equine Assistant assisted learning program, which is popular with our youth. As a trustee with BTAP, our team was instrumental in stabilizing the operations, now thriving and exporting Timothy hay. Also, I sat as the chair for recreation. We are now in the planning stages of a new rink facility. The funding source is from our mismanagement of assets claim. Also, we were able to get a new public works building funded by the World War II Bombing and Gunnery Range Claim Trust. Building was named in honor of the late Dolores Weasel moccasin. Also sat on the board for social development. We were able to support the development of Aigakimo, of children with disabilities. They can access the supports and services comparable to those generally available to Albertans. Committees were able to successfully lobby for the extension of funds for pre and post-employment supports, training and programming. This program provided opportunities to many of our community members. As we know, the tribe, we were battling the opioid crisis. We were able to secure funding for the Bringing the Spirit Home Detox, which is located in Standoff. We have been able to get funding for a 75-bed therapeutic community treatment facility. It will be built in the Laverne community. Just like to say, Kainai, I will continue working toward the best interests of the tribe, lobbying all levels of the government, supporting and being your voice in training of all levels of education, secondary, post-secondary, trades, and small business. I would like to also commend all of our BTA departments and entities for working so hard. It does not go unnoticed, especially during this pandemic. Thank you.
Good job, Kyla. Okay, everybody, our next guest is Marcel Weaselhead. Marcel is number 78 on the ballot. Okay, Marcel, you've got the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourself and share your platform with us today.
I'll send you, hold on, Marcel. I'll send you a notification to unmute. You should see that on your screen there. At the bottom, you should see a microphone at the bottom left. There's a mic there. Just press that button. At the bottom of your screen, bottom left side, it says unmute. There's like a little microphone icon.
Wave your hand over, Marcel.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah, you're
There.
good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank Robin and Vern for allowing us and for allowing all the candidates to participate. I think it's important that we, listen and respect all the candidates that are vying for chief and council. First of all, I want to as well talk a little bit about myself and why, it's important that throughout my history within council, I've been on council now for 20 years now. And I'm really, happy and honored to be serving the tribe for a number of years. I was blessed earlier in my life to attend Red Crow Community College in the social work field. I also attended LCC College in the recreation programming and management field. So I've really been blessed and had the opportunity to work in the community. And I think it's really important that with the background that anybody has in this field, that you have firsthand knowledge of some of the current issues that we're dealing with. And I think it's important that you bring that forward. One of the things that I've always really stressed is, my campaigns throughout the years haven't changed. It's still the same because, like I mentioned earlier, it's important that we continue to look at our elders. I think it's important as well we continue to look at our youths, the handicap, our special needs. Throughout my term, I've always made an effort to make sure that our elders are well taken care of. And I think it's really important for a lot of us. We all know how important our elders are. So I think it's really important that we continue to provide that ongoing care for our elders as well too. One of the things that I really would like to promote and talk about as well too is, throughout my term being on Children's Services, one of the things that we've always stressed is the importance of protecting our kids and providing the resources that's needed for our members out there. And it's important to keep our kids and families together. The other thing that's really important too as well is throughout my term, I think it's important that we develop that relationship with the provincial and federal government regarding some of the differences regarding funding. A lot of times too, they kind of dictate what type of programs or services or funding that's available. But for the tribe, and for a lot of times too, we set the standard. So we're not waiting or relying on them. We've always taken that action there. No, we want what's best for our members too. The other one that I really want to stress as well too, and I think it's really important, is I think we need to continue to meet with our community members. We need them to be involved in a lot of the decision making too. And I think it's really important too, because a lot of our community members know what goes on in each of the communities. And I think it's up to them to give us their ideas and thoughts as we move forward. So I think it's really important that we continue to work with them. I think as well, I've heard from a lot of our young people, I think it's time that we continue to recognize their importance, because we always talk about the future generation. Well, we're talking about their future, and I think it's important that they participate in a lot of these decision makings. And I think that's what Children's Services has stepped up in. Throughout the last few years, we've had a couple youth conferences where a lot of them have spoken up and kind of made some of their recommendations that they want to pursue and provide to leadership. So I think it's really important that we continue to address that. One of the things that really stand out as well too, and I'm proud, like Kyla talked a little bit about the importance of dealing with the recent opiate crisis too. We know that we had declared a state of emergency, and I want to thank the community members of Standoff who stepped up and wanted to make that change there. So I think over the years too, the tribe and health department, we develop a strategic plan on how we're going to address that. And Kyla talked a little bit about some of the funding that was available too. I'm proud of the program that we have in Standoff, Bring the Spirit Home. Now we're establishing the 75-bed community therapeutic facility too as well too. So it's really important that we continue to address that. Also as well too, there's ongoing negotiations as we speak that we want to continue, and that's the development of a new hospital on the Blood Reserve. And I think that's really important, because when you talk about investing in the future, investing in our kids, investing in our community, here's a great opportunity that we take control and we operate that. So these are some of the good initiatives that have taken place over many, many years. And it takes time. We have to properly plan a lot of these initiatives, and we also have to work with the funding that we have available. But at the same time too, we have to be creative as well too, to address some of the solutions too. Just recently, we are in the process of probably operating early this year the isolation facility, and that's been approved and finalized too. So that's something that we're really pursuing too. So we talk about protecting our kids, our community. COVID will affect, and you see that daily, and that's one of the things that we're all afraid of. But a lot of the departments that I'm really proud of over the last 9 months have really stepped up and have tried their best to continue to prevent that from spreading too. Our numbers at times go up, but at the same time too, we continue to reduce those numbers too. One loss is too many, and I believe, through your prayers and hard work that we can make a big difference in controlling that major issue that's out there. I've also had the opportunity to support a lot of good initiatives that are out there, and I continue to support them. We have the missing and murdered Indigenous women. We also have a lot of our young people that are out there that are facing a lot of the discrimination. Just recently in Cardston, that's an issue that was brought to our attention as well too. So there are a lot of things that I continue and I want to continue to move forward. One of the things too that I've also heard as well too is bridging the gap as far as services on and off the reserve too. Children's Services was in the stage of developing a satellite office in Calgary, and that's one of the things that we wanted to pursue. We wanted to start expanding our services, but we also wanted to work closely with the other departments as well too. I'm glad some of the departments in Lethbridge and some of the surrounding towns, are continuing to support us as well too. We have programs established in Calgary and Edmonton as well too. So I think it's important that we continue to bridge that gap and work with a lot of the members that are out there, to see and find solutions on how we can address that as well too. So, in closing, I just want to, congratulate and also encourage all of those individuals that are out there that want to make a difference. And for you candidates that are out there, I wish you the best. We all want what's best for the reserve. And like I mentioned in the past too, I'm a team player. It's all about working together and providing solutions for the betterment of the reserve there. So again, I ask for your support as we continue to move forward and create a healthy lifestyle for all members so they can benefit for the future. Thank you.
Good job, Marcel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Kirby, you can unmute. Next, folks, we have Kirby Dean Manyfingers, and he is number 54 on the ballot. Welcome to the show, Kirby. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and share your platform with the viewers tonight.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kirby Manyfingers. My traditional name is Abunsapi. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank both Robin and Vernon for hosting us tonight. And I'd also like to congratulate and encourage wish the best of luck to all the candidates in your pursuit of in your election pursuit. Well, what I'd like to talk to you about a little bit is my primary priorities always have been focusing on our finances. I'm proud to say that over the years, not just recently, but over the years, the tribe has always been seen as one of the best managed and more advanced First Nations in Canada. This is, as Marcel said earlier, this has taken a lot of work over a whole number of years. I know when I first got involved and was elected to council back in 1988, we had about $5 million in our trust accounts. Over the years, we had this built up to, almost $95 million, approaching $100 million. So we were successful in building a safety net for our future generations. And, I think we'll continue to do that. One of the things that, we always talk about is being sovereign. But in order to be truly sovereign, I think, we have to have some economic independence. So we've got to focus on bringing in new resources and spending those resources well in order to support all the various programs. Unfortunately, a lot of things are not funded, like, say, recreation and a number of other areas. These programs, we have to use our own source revenue to to maintain those programs. So it's imperative that we always continue to strive to bring in new resources. We do have setbacks, and we've had some setbacks. However, I think this council and previous councils have done what they can to take corrective measures. Like I said, we're one of the most advanced. We have a finance committee within council who focuses on not only bringing in new resources, but ensuring that our resources that we do have are properly spent. That we maintain some transparency on behalf of our departments, and I believe that's happened. Over this course last little while, we've negotiated new funding agreements in a number of areas. We've brought in new dollars to various social programs. For example, education. Marcel talked about health. Both Marcel and Kyla have been involved in children's services, and a whole number of other areas, policing. So we've been negotiating new fiscal arrangements, and we've brought in significant new monies into the tribe by way of transfer payments. However, that we always we need additional income. What I'm proud to say is that a lot of our corporate entities have seen some pretty dramatic turnarounds. Kyla mentioned BTAP. Not long ago, BTAP was, and was in a not very good situation. I think there was about an $8 million deficit. This council, aggressively put the organization in a recovery plan, and we've seen tremendous swings. We eliminate the $8 million deficit. Today, the organization is in a $4 million profit. It's generating new income to the tribe. Some of our other corporate entities that we've seen doing really well is Kyla Resources, our oil and gas entity. Over the past few years, we've been just like everyone else in Alberta. We've taken on a big hit as a result of the oil and gas crash. We've managed to keep our activities going, and it's and again, we're seen as the leaders in this area. However, like other governments, we have to diversify our economy. So we expanded our mandate to include non-renewable energies. So now we've got a joint project in Cypress Hills area with we're partners with another company. So we have a windmill project coming up. There's a second project in the works that'll be on reserve. It's called the Beanic Wing Project, and that project will be on the north end of the reserve. Again, is trying to diversify our economy, bring in new dollars. As well, there's some economic development ventures. We have Alta Link up and running, and a number of other things. These are just a few examples. But I think the one thing that's been really exciting has been our land claim settlements. That has really pushed us over the edge. I think we've been working on these for years. Prior to being on council, I was the director of our tribal government and external affairs department back in the 80s. Its mandate was to work on land claims, deal with historic issues, treaty Aboriginal rights. So, a lot of our land claims go back decades. I first started working with the tribe in 1984, and we that's, right around the time that, when I first got involved in the big claim. Since then, we've taken on a number of other claims. The first ones were Acres 1 and 2, which was back in the late 90s, early 2000. The council before settled the gunnery range claim. This term, we signed a historic deal called the mismanagement of assets claim. That brought in $150 million settlement. We're also in negotiation on several other files that we expect to have settled in the immediate future. However, the biggest news that we had was, a claim that goes back 50 years, and it's something that we've been working on for generations. Is the big claim. I didn't think the day would ever come, but just this past year, we were forced to go to trial, to litigation, and we won, and that was just amazing, and it's exciting. So we're going into phase 3 of the claim, and phase 3 that's where we determine the damages. So that's really exciting. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the claims, but anyways, with all of these different things happening, dealing with new fiscal agreements, putting in spending, maintaining our spending, finding new sources of income, putting in new financial management systems has really put us in a good spot. After these settlements and with the addition of new funds, we're probably in the best financial shape that the tribes have ever been in. So anyways, like I said, it's taken a lot of hard work, and so I'd like to see that continue. As far as my role on council, over the years, I've kind of developed a specialty. I'm one of the primary negotiators for a lot of our major initiatives. I've negotiated deals in areas such as financial agreements, jurisdictional arrangements, justice initiatives, economic development initiatives, and land claims. I also like to believe I'm a team player, and I believe I bring some expertise to the table. So again, we've had some tough times lately, especially with the epidemic and opiate crisis. But I'm proud to say that our professional teams and our staff, council, have taken on this challenge. We've hit it straight on. Although it's been difficult, I think we've managed it so well that other levels of government and communities look to the tribe as an example on how to go forward. So, in addition to the new candidates, all their good luck, I'd also like to thank the outgoing council. They worked really hard. It was a real productive team. I was proud to be part of that team. And anyways, if I'd like to ask for your support, and like I say, I bring a wealth of experience to the table. I've served 28 years on council. Hey, thanks, guys.
Good job, Kirby. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirby. So we're moving to the next segment of our show, where Robin will ask 3 of our candidates a question here about their platform, basically to enhance part of their platform there. So let's put Robin on the stage here. So Robin, who's the first person you're bringing on?
Okay, we're going to go back to Kyla. So Kyla, you can unmute your microphone. Oh my gosh, yeah, lots of good stuff. Kyla, you talked about all the activity at Kainai Children's Services and the accreditation that you guys went through, and all the different programs. Then you talked about BTAP, certainly the big swings there and all the work that was put into turning around our BTAP and doing expansion there. You talked about recreation. You talked about the new hockey rink that's in the works and being planned, which is really exciting. You talked about the new public works building, which is also really exciting. We've gone to their grand opening, and that was really nice to see that new facility. They really needed that. Certainly, the exciting stuff too is the social development work, all the stuff that's gone into training and working with our social development clients. You talked about the things going on at health, bringing the spirit home, and the 75-bed facility. Of course, the COVID response. And I really like this. You talked about you want to continue to work for the best interests of our community, and certainly focus on things like post-secondary trades and small business education. Kyla, I know you've done lots of work with children's services, recreation, and you've talked about how important our youth's voices are. Kyla, if you are successfully re-elected in this next election, how do you see yourself ensuring that youth know that they are being heard?
That's a good question, Robin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wasn't too sure, just making sure. Okay, so back in February, before COVID hit, Kind Children's Services actually had a youth conference or youth summit. And so we went through an exercise with our youth, and what we got from it and what they were saying was the youth are responsible to keep our language, our traditions, our ceremonies, and spiritual alive for future generations. The youth want to make a difference. They are here to challenge current government systems that need to evolve. They are eager to get involved and also to feel a sense of contribution to our people's future. They also want a sense of belonging. Our youth are very creative. They have a fresh perspective of the world, and they have a unique ability to brainstorm creative solutions. When the youth contribute ideas and energies to social issues of Kainai, they gain that confidence to see themselves as the capable leaders that they are. And I think just from what they said, this would, asking for re-election, this is something that would be my goals that I need to fill, because this is like the roadmap of what our youth are saying. So, we talk about being their voice. This would be kind of like the evaluation, making sure that these things are being filled and them being part of what they've said. So I'd just like to close off. On November 26th, I'm kindly asking for your vote to vote for Kyla Crow, Spreads His Wings. I'm number 19 on the voting list. I know there's not numbers beside them, but I'm the 19th down the list. Thank you, Kainai.
Awesome, Kyla. Thank you. That was really good. Okay, our next person up is Marcel. Marcel, you talked about you feel very blessed to have worked in the community all these years and proud to have served the tribe. You talked about bringing experience to the table, and certainly ongoing services for the elders, youth, handicapped, and our special needs, and the importance of protecting our kids and providing resources to keep families together, developing government relations, taking action to do what's best for members, and continuing to meet with the community, continuing to recognize the importance of youth and their future. You talked about the opiate crisis and having worked on a strategic plan. I know Kyla was on the health board as well, so you both worked on that. You talked about the Bringing the Spirit Home program. I know they received an award, so that's really great. And then the 75-bed facility. And what's really exciting is the negotiations on the new hospital. And you talked about having to be creative through this COVID crisis. We certainly had to do that. You talked about the new isolation facility, and really appreciating all the staff out there that have worked really hard. You mentioned the Murdered and Missing Women's Initiative. Certainly continuing to move these forward and bridging the gap for off reserve members. Being a team player and providing solutions. Marcel, I really like the part where you talked about continuing to meet with the community. Marcel, if you are successfully re-elected in this next election, how do you see yourself continuing to promote community engagement?
Thank you, Robin. I think one of the things that I want to talk about as well too, I know that Kirby mentioned as well too, the importance of all level of government. We know the province and the feds continue to look at the blood tribe. And I mentioned earlier that we don't wait for anyone. You know, we take action based on a lot of the needs that our members have brought forward. So with that being said, I always rely on a lot of people in each of the community. I want to bring up a special lady just the other day I met as well too, and that's I know her. She's a family member, and that's Joanne Mountain Horse Twig. And one of the things she talked about was, you know, it's sad we continue to see a lot of our members deal with addiction there. So I briefly kind of mentioned some of the new initiatives. So I think it's important that you continue to meet with a lot of community members and have them established. We have committees, we have committee reps out there, and they are the voice for the community. But keep in mind, it's also important to get the elders and the youth people involved as well too. They bring up some of the issues, and it's up to the departments and entities to take those issues and develop strategic plans that meet their needs. Each of the communities have different issues. We talked a little bit about Laverne. We talked some of the new initiatives that are out in Laverne. You know, we have a new clinic that's been operating for a few years, but we've also expanded, and we'll continue to expand that. And it's based on what they want. This therapeutic community facility is also another initiative that will be going in that community as well too. But they also said that they want to see a lot of improvement in the community. They want the community to have the roads to be paved. They want to beautify the community. They want to create safer communities. There's also the B-test facility that's in that area. And Robin, again, just because you sit on the education, there's also good discussion, and we all know that there is a new school that'll be built. So I think it's important that community members in each of the communities know what they want. And I think it's up to us to really come together and work together for the best interest of all community members. But I want to take it a step further. We may have temporary solutions. We still have to look at a lot more as far as employment, as far as housing, the basic needs. So these are some of the issues that we have to continue to address, housing as well too. We may have these treatment facilities and programs, but that may not be enough. We need to develop, so at least our members have that opportunity to go out there, find employment, and take care of themselves too. So again, I want to thank all the community members that I've worked with in the past. You know, your ideas mean a lot too, and especially the young people too. Like I mentioned, it's time, you know, they're ready. You know, we know they're ready. So again, on November the 26th, I ask that you support me as a team player. I will work hard for the best interest of all community members. Thank you.
Awesome, Marcel. Thank you. Okay, and Marcel is number 78 on the ballot. Okay, our next speaker, Kirby, you can unmute your microphone. Kirby, you talked about finances and how over the years the tribe has been considered one of the best managed First Nations across Canada, and that's taken a lot of time to reach that. And so that's really good work that has been done. You talked about we've reached as much as $95 million in our capital account, and we've had talking about it as our safety net for our future generations. You talked about if we want to be sovereign, we have to continue to work and bring in new resources. You talked about some areas are not funded, so it's imperative that we continue to create those other sources of revenue, our own source revenues. There have been some setbacks, and this past term, there's been some corrective measures that have been taken, and certainly over the years as well. You talked about how Finance Committee is in place to monitor and for transparency from the departments. You talked about negotiating new funding agreements in a number of areas, a couple of them being policing, children's services. You've brought new dollars into the tribe by way of transfer payment, and how our corporations, we've seen some swings, certainly in BTAP. We even now have an expansion going on. But what also is really exciting is diversifying our own source revenues through Kainai Resource Inc. and the new green energy projects that we're involved in. You talked about other economic ventures that you've been involved in over the years. And then you went into the claims, and well, certainly we know our mismanagement of assets claim has certainly boosted our financial position for the tribe, and how the claims have gone way back. You know, it certainly has taken many terms to continue these claims and close them, such as Acres 1 and 2, the gunnery range, the mismanagement of assets claim. You talked about how now we're working on the big claim and we're going into phase 3. You talked about putting in new systems, modernizing the tribe, and the tribe being in a really good fiscal position right now. And you talked about the pandemic and how we've hit the issues head on. We're certainly, people are coming to us and asking us how we're doing so well. So that's certainly really good. Kirby, if you are successfully reelected in this next election, how do you see yourself continuing to pursue these claims successfully?
Like I mentioned earlier, I think especially in the area of claims, these are really exciting times. Well, actually, they're exciting times across the board. You know, I think Marcel and Kyla talked about children's services and other programs. I think we're always going to aggressively pursue and expand our programs, try to take over jurisdictions. However, I'd like to just kind of focus in on the claims for a second, just to give an update where we're at with all the various claims. As I mentioned, the first claims that were settled back in the late 90s, early 2000 was those Acres 1 and 2. With that one, that was related to Fort Whoop-Up. In 1890s, we lost about 744 acres of land. We settled that. We were given about $6 million compensation, and we were also in the settlement. There was the ability to convert 744 acres of land back to reserve status. Just an update on where we're at. Most of that land has been purchased. I think there's just 11 acres remaining. It's in the process of being converted to reserve status, and the trustees that are appointed to the file are working on and those lands are just located just off the reserve on Highway 509. And they're working on various projects like a convention center, and other things like housing, to maximize the value of those lands. That project, it's almost fulfilled its purpose. The second project that was successfully negotiated was the term before last. That was the Gunnery Range project. Again, there was about a $6 million settlement there. That settlement's been wound down. Kyla had mentioned the new public works building. $4.5 million was put to that building, which was long overdue. The balance of the funds were put to our new ceremonial building. And that's the ceremonial building is for our elders and our spiritual leaders. And again, that's another facility that was long overdue. This past term, like I'd mentioned, it was historic. It was a big win for us. Was the settlement of the mismanagement of assets claim. This goes back to the turn of the century. It's also called our betrayed wards. We have $150 million settlement. With that settlement, we gave our distribution. However, the remaining balance of $125 million is going to build a whole number of much needed projects. Before they built the projects, there was a community survey that asked what the priorities were. So today, I'm proud to say that we have a whole number of projects coming on stream. The first priority, and it's already started, is the reconstruction of Red Crow Community College. There's been some resources put to development of the acres development. What's on plan is a new Blood Tribe administration building, which again is much needed. A new hockey rink. Recreation is forwarding their plans there. We've had our tough time with our crisis, so resources will be going to be used to build a new opiate addictions facility. Some money will go to housing, and other dollars go to things like Red Crow Park. So there's a number of projects that are coming down over the next 5 or 6 years. So we're going to see all this major activity. We also have a number of claims that are really, really close to being finalized. One of them is the cattle claim, which relates to the treaty. We have the timber limits claim. We have another claim called Top Gas, where we're shortchanged on some oil and gas royalties. And again, we're very, very close to settling those. I'm proud to say that, once these come in place, our financial situation will improve just drastically. We'll be able to resource a lot of those programs that we just aren't in a position to do a proper job with right now, such as recreation. So again, like I said, it's some exciting times, and I expect to see some major developments. With all this work, the big plan is to put our members to work. Years back, we had an entity called St. Mary's Construction. That's been revitalized. We're going to attach it to as many of these projects as we can. Their past record, when we took on projects, were like 80 and 90% of the workforce were our guys. So we want to replicate that. So we're planning on putting people to work, making a few dollars out of the process. So diversifying our economy, taking over new programs, and building all these facilities that are much, much needed. And I think as we bring on more settlements, we could look at expanding that capital, the capital plan and include other facilities. Outside of that, there's some other projects coming up, like, Robin, you and the Board of Education, they're, bringing on the new Asapi school, and then Kyla and Marcel with health, there's a new hospital, the new treatment facilities. So, it's, again, I'd like to think that there's some real exciting times and there's some really excellent work that's been done, not only by council, but by our staff, as well as, members of our community who've been advising us. So anyways, that's kind of just an update on the claims and where we're at, where we're going. And again, like I said, I'd like to continue to ask for your support. I think I've been central to all of these various negotiations, and I believe I still have a few more things to contribute in moving these things forward. Thanks.
Good job. Thank you, Kirby. Okay, thanks, folks, for joining us tonight. Just a reminder, we had Kyla Leanne, Crow Spreads His Wings, join us tonight. She's number 19 on the ballot. We have Marcel Patrick Weaselhead. He's number 78 on the ballot. And Kirby Dean Many Fingers, number 54 on the ballot. Good job, guys. Thank you, and good luck.
Okay, that completes our show tonight, the Blood Tribe Elections Live. We're talking on behind the scenes. Like every show, we have a numerical sequence. One show 8, everybody was 8. And one show 1, everybody was 1s. So just looking at episode 9, Kirby, your number is 54. 5 plus 4 equals 9. Marcel, your number on your ballot is 78. Numerical sequence 789. And Kyla, your number is 19. You have the 9. And today is the 19th. There you go. Well, that concludes tonight's show, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Kyla. Thank you, Marcel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Guys, be safe. You guys have a good night. Talk to you guys
Okay,
soon.
thanks everybody.
Good night, you guys. Bye.
Good night.